Yo, have you ever heard of a straw man or sovereign entities or unlimited debitors using their social security number as a bond number? Uh, well, conspiracies like these have been whispered in the internet since its conception. But in my opinion, this is the only way that a 9-month-old can receive a loan from the government, as Elon Musk explains in this Dodge team interview on Fox News with Brett. My name is Marcus Russell. This is the Marcus Russell Show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and sit back as Elon gives us a tour into the murky swamp that is the government that they are draining. Let's get it right into it.
The ways that the government is defrauded is that the computer systems don't talk to each other. So if the computer systems don't talk to each other, then you can exploit that gap, and fraudsters exploit that gap to take advantage. For example, there were over $300 million of Small Business Administration loans that has been given out to people under the age of 11.
Well, actually, to add to it, it's 300 million under the age of 11 and over 300 million to over the age of 120.
Okay, yo, let's go over that again. The ways that the government have been frauding is because the computer systems are not linked with each other, and politicians can exploit this gap. He said they have gave a loan to a 9-month-old. They have given 300 million in SBA loans to Americans that were under 11-year-old. And also another $300 million to people who are over the ages of 120 years old. And as we all know, the oldest living American is 114 years old. And why would Democrats be against having upgraded computer systems? Oh, I know why. Because this money that they're uncovering was going into your pockets.
Definitely
It's
Small
obvious.
business loans.
Correct.
Yes. The oldest American is 114. So it's safe to say if their age is 115 or above, they're fake. Or they should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. And we should not be giving out loans to babies. So the youngest recipient of a Small Business Administration loan is a 9-month-old, which is a very, very precocious baby we're talking about here. So obviously it was just fraudulent. And they do terrible things. They actually will see that a kid's been born. They will steal that kid's social security number and then take out a loan and leave that kid with a bad credit rating. There was literally a baby. The terrible things are being done, is what we're saying.
And how?
And we're stopping these terrible things.
And you can stop it? I mean,
we are stopping
You are
it.
stopping
The reason this is
Absolutely.
happening is because the two systems are not talking to each other.
Yes.
Right. And so you don't know at the Small Business Administration that you're giving a loan to a 9-month-old, which happened in one case, because you're not cross-referencing that with the Social Security Administration data that has birth dates. So that very, very simple fix eliminates tremendous fraud. And that there are multiple systems across the government where the systems are not speaking with one another. And if you just solve that simple problem, you would solve a huge amount of fraud.
Are you surprised?
So one of the ways that, like one of the key tricks that the fraudsters pull is that they will use the fact that someone is marked as live, and as sort of just that social security number is marked as live in Social Security, and then get disability and unemployment insurance for a dead person. Because the databases don't talk to each other, all they got was from Social Security is like, is this person alive? Yes, they're not alive. It's falsely marked. Person is falsely marked as alive in Social Security. But they didn't. But that person, a fraudster can now get unemployment and disability from a dead person. This is happening all the time at scale.
Are you surprised at some of the legal efforts and some of the judges that have weighed in? There's about 8 or 10 now of these cases that are at least temporary holds. They're being challenged by the DOJ.
Right.
Are you surprised by that pushback?
Well, it's the D.C. Circuit is notorious for having a very far-left bias. And when you look at the people close to some of these judges, where are they working? Oh, they're working at these NGOs. Oh, they're the ones getting this money. Does that seem like a system that lacks corruption? It sounds like corruption to me.
Last thing, do you guys all see this as a patriotic duty? I mean, is that really what this is about?
It's essential.
Very much
I
so.
do, 100%. I was running 5 businesses in Houston, and I left that. I left great people to do this, and my wonderful wife said, go for it, and here I am. But I feel like this is me giving back to the country.
If we don't do this, we're sunk. The ship, unless this exercise is successful, the ship of America will sink. That's why we're doing it.
Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate the time. Hassan,
Unless this exercise is successful, the ship that is America will sink. Check this out. These are facts. America, at its continued spending rate, the American dollar, the fiat dollar, will be worthless in 10 years unless there's drastic change. And I probably will be alive in 10 years, and I don't want this thing to ship. I mean, this ship to sink.
Interior Department, you're a former oil company CEO. You're reviewing contracts before they're approved for funding. What are you finding?
Well, Elon and Steve kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but I actually found that customer service survey contract. I actually have an example of one right here. I could have done this in high school, and I found it.
Is that bad?
I found it on the weekends because under the Biden administration, there was no departmental oversight within the Department of Interior whatsoever. None. We are now reviewing every single contract, every single grant, and when things come to my attention that don't make sense, I'm bringing them to Secretary Burgum, and he's been fantastic. He's a businessman. He's very supportive of Doge. It's been wonderful to work with him.
Yo, and check it out. So I just did a video on this yesterday. So they had one contract. It's an HR software contract. It was projected to take a year to complete. It costed $36 million at that time. Currently, it is 8 years past the time that it said it was going to take, and it is $280 million over budget. Another contract was a study to decarbonize emissions from Navy ships, some Obama Green Deal stuff. That one is over $350 million. It's just still going. No estimated completion to date, and really haven't changed nothing. We can end homelessness in America with just a couple of these contracts that they've been scheming to pay themselves with. You know what I mean? And then what are y'all gonna do with all this money once the American dollar is worthless anyway?
Is the
That part.
battle between government of decades of buildup and business, which you guys are, is that like a train hitting each other? I mean, it seems like it's pretty disruptive.
Well, this is a revolution, and I think it might be the biggest revolution in government since the original revolution. But at the end of the day, America is going to be in much better shape. America will be solvent. The critical programs that people depend upon will work, and it's going to be a fantastic future. But are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was you know who complains the loudest and with the most amount of fake righteous indignation? The fraudsters. It's a tell. There's some of these NGOs that are crazy, like the $2 billion to Stacey Abrams' NGO that basically didn't exist and suddenly gets $2 billion awarded from the federal government. Why? And there are many such cases like that.
Yo, Elon had just said last month that he didn't want to tell the names of the people in his crew publicly because the radical remake of the government and dismantling of several federal agencies was literally risking their lives. But 7 Dodge employees went ahead and put themselves in the line of fire. They were basically just discussing, how a tech geek could make the government efficient as far as software is concerned. They used the analogy that they could leave the government with a beautifully designed Apple Store-like experience. And check it, I'm Team Apple. I love the Apple Store experience. The co-founder of Airbnb, his name is Joe Giba. He said it is his mission to overhaul the retirement system for retirement people for the federal government, federal workers. I have family who've been working in the post office for 50 years. Their Social Security is messed up, so it definitely needs to be remade. Like I said, he's the co-founder of Airbnb. He's worth $8 billion. These men are not in this for personal gain. All of them are multi-billionaires. Literally, they're only doing this for us and risking their lives. And I think they've only shown their faces because a lot of them are now involved with lawsuits from labor unions and from Democratic DOJ roadblocks set up to stop them. But they are simply applying standard company regulations to the federal government that has not been regulated, and they just been taking advantage, exploiting the system. Yo, tell me what you think in the comments. My name is Marcus Russell. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time.